Okay, so let's look at telescoping series. This series is of the form b sub n minus b sub n plus 1, and the sum is equal to b sub 1 minus L, and where L is the limit of b sub n. Okay, so earlier we did this sequence. A sub n is equal to 1 over n squared plus 3n plus 2, and we found that the limit of the sequence is 0. Now we can look at it as a series, okay? The series of 1 over n squared plus 3n plus 2 as n goes from 1 to infinity. What we need to do first is to rewrite the series into this form. And we will do that using partial fractions. Okay, so let's use partial fractions to rewrite this series. I factor the denominator into n plus 1 times n plus 2. And so I'm able to rewrite the fraction as a over n plus 1 plus b over n plus 2. So continuing on, we will say 1 is equal to a times n plus 2 plus b times n plus 1. I simply multiplied both sides by the LCD. If n is negative 2, then 1 is equal to negative b, which will imply that b is equal to negative 1. And if n is equal to negative 1, then we have 1 is equal to a. So we can rewrite our series now as 1 over n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 2. N goes from 1 to infinity. So why is this telescoping series? I want you to look what's going to happen when I replace n by 1, by 2, and so on. If n is equal to 1, then we will get 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 plus, let's do the next term. If n is equal to 2, then we will get 1/3 minus 1/4 plus, if n is equal to 3, we will get 1/4 minus 1/5, and so on. Now you can see that we can regroup our terms and get 1/2 minus 1/3 plus 1/3 minus 1/4 plus 1/4 minus 1/5, and if we continue, we should get 1 over n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 2. What do you notice of the terms? We notice that the middle terms cancel. And so our sum is equal to 1/2 minus 1 over n plus 2. When we set the limit as n goes to infinity, we should get an answer of 1/2. This is the condition for convergence of a telescoping series. The limit of this must be equal to some number L as n goes to infinity, and we know that that's gonna be 0. So because that is equal to some number L, in this case it is 0, then the telescoping series given by this one, 1 over n squared plus 2n plus 2 as n goes from 1 to infinity, is a convergent telescoping series. Word of caution, if you notice, I purposely included the sequence a sub n as n goes to infinity, and we found the limit here as 0. Compare that with the series is convergent to 1/2. So what's the difference between the two? Well, in the sequence, we are saying that these terms will eventually become 0 as n goes to infinity, whereas here, the sum of the series will eventually be equal to 1/2.